Welcome to the webinar. I'm so glad you took this time to join us. My name is Marina McKee. I have two children of my own. My first one is 6 years old, and she was an angel compared to what I've had to deal with my son. He actually had colic for 5 months, and it actually might have been a little bit longer. And I'm a single parent, so I know how tiring and frustrating colic can be. And even as a couple or whatever your situation may be, colic can be very tough to deal with and navigate. And I have taken a lot of time and energy to put into this video and making sure that I'm giving you as much information to help you navigate through colic without feeling guilty and being able to pretty much stay sane. I'm just going to give you the tips and tricks that worked for me along the way. I'm not a doctor by any means, but I have been to lots of doctors about this. I've done lots of research with it, and I have found some things that have worked for me. And I've counseled some other families through it as well, just because my son, not only did he have colic, he also has microcephaly, which is just a small head. So I go to doctors a lot, so I get a lot of professional opinions about medical stuff with babies. And I just wanted to take a second, and if you see me looking down, it's because I have all my information written down because I don't want to miss anything, and I want to give you the most accurate and up-to-date information that I possibly can. Colic is, by definition, severe, often pain in the abdomen caused by intestinal gas. It's frequent, prolonged crying or fussiness in an otherwise healthy baby. And that's pretty much the gist of it. They like to say that if it lasts for 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 hours at a time, then it's considered colic. And like with my son, it was pretty much all day long. And at night, we were literally getting like 30 minutes of sleep. So the 5 months felt like it dragged on, but it does go fast. So try to enjoy each moment, even though it can be frustrating at times. And make sure that it is colic. You want to rule out any other possible condition, like, for example, neurogenic crying. It resembles colic, but it's actually where your baby is like having seizures in the brain, or like their muscles are stiff, and that can be painful. So you want to make sure it's not something like that, or acid reflux. It's pretty common actually. So like my son had that too, and so he would. I was breastfeeding, and so I would feed him, and then he would spit up, and he would arch his back, and you could tell that when he was spitting up that he was in pain. And so the doctor had prescribed him, it's called ranitidine, and that didn't do the job. And so we got prescribed Nexus, which wherever you are, it may be different, but it's just an antacid. And so you have to do that every day with your child. Also, if you are breastfeeding, it could be what you are eating that is causing the baby's stomach to flare up and then be in pain. So if you're like drinking dairy, for example, like cow's milk, or eating ice cream, cheese, just any kind of dairy, that seems to be a big trigger for babies. So be sure to maybe journal your diet, and then when you're feeding your baby, try to make changes. That is kind of time consuming and everything, but it's really worth it if you want to stick with the breastfeeding and rule that out. And then if it is reflux, if your baby has reflux and you're breastfeeding, you try different positions. If you like nurse the baby and they're at an angle, like sitting up a little bit, that helps so that when instead of laying back, that the liquid isn't just flowing through their esophagus and stuff. So try different things like that with the reflux. And if it's there's different formulas out there, it just depends where you are, that are catered to like a colic baby or a gassy baby. So it is a lot of trial and error to find what works for you. And so my doctor wanted me to do formula and try that, but wasn't willing to. I really wanted to keep breastfeeding, but I did get some formula, and I ordered it from a different country. I cannot exactly remember what the website was. I will put it at the end of this in the resources section so that you'll have it, but it's formula from a different country, and over there there's standards for what is consumable by humans is different and it's cleaner, I would say. And so I got mine from, I believe it was Germany, and it was actually goat's milk, and it's really good because goat's milk is the most like human milk. So it's easier on the baby's stomach. So if you're into that, you might look into that. I got it really fast too. It's not like you have to wait on the shipping. It came in, like the normal 8 business days or something. So definitely you want to try that. And if you're breastfeeding, you can, well, you're supposed to, it's recommended that you give your baby vitamin D drops. You can look it up. There's a lot of research done on it that can also help your baby calm and soothe and get the nutrition that they need. Let's see, I want to make sure we get everything. And then if your baby is taking a bottle, depending on, what your pediatrician recommends or what you're comfortable with, you can take rice, from the baby section, rice cereal, and put a little bit in their milk to try to thicken it up to hold the liquid down for the baby so that it's just, like I said, it's thicker and it's not coming straight back up for the reflux and things of that nature. Because like I said, you want to rule all that out and make sure that you're taking care of all your baby's needs as good as you can. They can't talk to us, so this is, like I said, a lot of trial and error. Also, something I did with my son is I'm big into like organic stuff, so like coconut oil. I would take like a scoop of coconut oil. You can get it, at any natural store, Amazon.com, anywhere. You can just get coconut oil, and I would just give my son a little tablespoon of that, either one, just depending on what age he was, and I'd let him swallow it. And coconut oil has so many beneficial things, even without just trying to soothe colic or stomach pains. It fights bacteria. It has lauric acid in the coconut oil, and that's also found in breast milk. So that's really good. That tells you that it's super good. It's good for the heart. It's nutritious and it's filling. It does have healthy fats and stuff for you to absorb, even if you wanted to have it. But for the baby, it's still really good. It's antimicrobial. I mean, I could really go on with the benefits of it. It helps with constipation because it like lubricates your intestines and everything. So I think that would really be beneficial. If your baby is having like hard poops or having a hard time passing their bowel movements. And then if they do have reflux, the coconut oil will really soothe the throat and the stomach. So I really recommend coconut oil for most things, actually. And something else I did with my son is I took him to a chiropractor, and you find a chiropractor in your area that is trained to work with babies. And I had my son get an adjustment on his back because, through the birthing process, that's, a tight squeeze. There's lots going on. So, maybe they have a kink in their neck or somewhere in their spine, they're misaligned and it's causing their nervous system to fire in different ways. So if you're into that and willing to try that, I did it and I did find success with the adjustment after the chiropractor. So I do recommend that. I know other people that have had a lot of success with that too, because you adjust your spine and then it helps your body to heal itself. And then another thing that I found was vital in my everyday routine was to have white noise. And the white noise, they have the little machines, which I have one available, the one that I used throughout the 5 months of colic, and I actually still use to this day. I'm used to it now, sleeping with it. But the white noise is really like loud, like background noise, like a waterfall or crickets, things of that nature. But for a baby, it's not necessarily like the sounds like that. When a baby is in utero, so in your stomach, it's really loud in there. You wouldn't think about it, but in there, they're hearing sloshing and your heart beating and blood pumping, and it's pretty loud in there. So they would compare it to like a lawnmower. So I mean, that's really loud. So when the baby's born and they come out, you're trying to keep it quiet. Well, you're doing the opposite of what the baby really needs. So I actually started with just leaving my vacuum sweeper running, and that put my baby to sleep. And I found, well, I need to get a white noise machine. So you might try that before you invest in the white noise machine. Turn your sweeper on next to your baby and see what happens, and then you might have to try different kinds of noises, but the vacuum sweeper worked for me. And then if you go to youtube.com on the computer or your tablet or whatever device you want to use, you go to YouTube and you type in baby colic or white noise, for example, and it will pop up a list of videos. Some last 10 hours, 12 hours, 2, it just depends. But it's just like a vacuum sweeper noise if you don't want to leave your vacuum sweeper going. So that's another option, and I've done that many, many times. But if you want a white noise machine, you can buy them at a lot of places, but I do have a link that I will give to you so you can order the white noise machine that I know that works very well. I've given it to other people that have issues with this. And then, even if your baby doesn't have colic, this can help settle them into a routine of like sleeping and stuff. So I really do recommend the white noise machines for newborns, just because that adjustment for them coming from loud on the inside and then you come out, they kind of, need the same noises and stuff to really get adjusted to their new environment. And I have done the colic drops, tablets, calming pills, lavender spray, lavender lotions. So all that is worth a try. I mean, I've tried, the Gerber colic drops, the off-brand of the colic drops. I've tried Colic Calm, the Nubby calming tablets. Excuse me. So I really have every drop medicine and everything that you could try. I didn't find that it was like super successful. The Gerber colic drops did, I feel like, maybe cut down the time the colic was lasting a little bit. But there's just so many options to choose. I really am just trying to help you decide what you haven't tried. Maybe you haven't heard of any of this. Maybe you could try a combination of these things. And then with a colic baby, you try all you can to comfort. Of course, you want to comfort your baby, rock them, put them on your chest, maybe do skin to skin. That's really important for your child. That might help calm them. You put their ear to your heart, that might soothe them. But sometimes that just isn't enough. I can tell you, I rocked my son, I patted, I did so much. I mean, I feel like I didn't even have to work out anymore because of all the rocking and bouncing that I was doing. But I would have to put my son down in his crib and actually step outside. And, it was like usually 3 o'clock in the morning or something, because I just needed a break. We are only humans, and, you can only take so much sometimes. And then, you're not getting very much sleep. So you just make sure that you are calm and in a good state of mind with your baby, because obviously you don't want to hurt your baby or do anything like that, of course. But, sometimes you get in that moment and things do happen. So that's why I'm just saying, take some time for yourself. It is okay to put your baby in a safe place, their crib or somewhere where they're secure, and just step out and take some deep breaths. I think that's very important. For your sake and the baby's. And I, as a mother, would get so frustrated at my son. He's, a newborn baby, and then I would feel guilty later for being mad at him because he's just a baby. So it's this vicious cycle, and you just don't want to get yourself into that. And then, you don't want to get yourself down, and then you could have that risk of, if you're a woman that just gave birth, you don't want to go into the postpartum depression or anything like that. So definitely check your state of mind and your mental health, because that's important for your baby. And I want to show you, there's something else. It's called the Colic Hold. I am going to use my daughter's little baby here. The Colic Hold is where you're holding your baby, and then you're going to take their arm here and put it across their chest, and then you take this one across their chest as well. And the way you're holding the baby is, with the fleshy part of your hand, not your fingertips. So you're going to hold the baby like this and hold their little bottom. So I'm just going to show you a little bit how you're holding them at about a 45-degree angle. So when you're holding your baby like this, just do, smooth motions. You don't want to be jerky or anything like that. You can, wiggle their little bottom, but just keep it like this. And usually the baby will calm down, and your touch is going to help them as well. So one more time, I'm going to show you how to do the colic hold. And if you don't believe me, you can look this up as well. But you're going to hold your baby. You're going to put one arm across the chest. You're going to bring the other one across the chest as well. Keep the baby snug and tight. And you're going to hold your baby with the palm of your hand right here. And you're going to use these fingers to support the neck. But keep them at a 45-degree angle and give them a little bit of rocking motion a little bit, because when they're in utero and you're walking, this is like, they're riding a wave. So you just want to kind of get them in that natural state and keep them at that 45-degree angle, so if they want to lift their head or stuff like that. So that's another option, is the colic hold. I also have found a lot of success with weighted blankets. Be very careful because of SIDS, and if the baby gets it over their face, just there's so much. It's just a personal decision, and you want to be safe. But the site that I recommend is nestedbean.com. They have a little like sleep sack. It comes over the shoulders, and it's a long sack that the baby's in, and then like right here on the chest, or you could switch it to the back, just whichever way you prefer. I guess after the baby gets bigger and is sleeping on their belly. But at first, the back is what's safe. So you're going to want the weight here on the chest. So when the baby is laying down, they've got a little bit of weight on their chest, which feels like, your touch on their chest, and it could help soothe them and calm them. As my son has gotten older, he's almost a year now, we still use the nested bean weighted sack, and he participates in a therapy group, I guess it's called. It's because he's a little bit like delayed and stuff with his microcephaly, so they help me a lot with resources and stuff. So we're working on still gonna get him his own weighted blanket and stuff, because that's important to his needs. And so this is all stuff you can talk to your pediatrician about and stuff, because you want to cater to your baby's needs, really. And then aside from like all that kind of stuff, if your baby is having like diaper rash, for example, I haven't really found any success with any of the like creams that are like at the stores or anything like that. I have the best diaper rash cream. It's not for diaper rash, but it's a miracle cream. It will literally take away a severe diaper rash in 48 hours or less. Completely take it away. If you're interested in having my miracle cream, I call it, I will leave a link for you to get a hold of it, because I will not use anything else. I used it with my first child, and I've been hooked ever since. I actually give it away as a baby shower gift, or anytime anybody asks for recommendations, I always point them in this direction, because this stuff is a miracle worker. And then some other things along the lines of if you're willing to spend some money to try to, comfort the baby and take as much pressure off of yourself as possible. I also invested in a rocking, it's a swing, but it also is a bassinet. So, if the baby's swinging and falls asleep, you can just drop it down into a bassinet, because it seemed like my son liked to be in motion. Like he would sleep the best if he's in motion. So the rocking bassinet and swing was also another little lifesaver. So I do think that that's all I have for you. And you can do as much research, ask your pediatrician in your area what's best. And you are the parent. You know what's best. Do what's in your heart. And if you think there's something more wrong with your child than just colic, be vigilant. Do not, if a doctor tells you one thing and you feel a different way, go with your gut. Get a second opinion if you have to. But I just want you to take care of you and your baby. And I want you to, embrace colic, because it is just a phase and it will go away. But in all the madness and the crying and stuff, you need to enjoy your baby, because time really does go fast and they're not little for long. So I'm really wanting to help out as much as I can. And I hope one of these tips that I've given does help you and give you some relief, so that you can enjoy more of that time with your baby. So I just wanted to say thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to send me an email or reach out with a phone call. I am pretty much always available. I will leave all my information after this video. So I hope that all of this can help soothe you and your baby, and I hope you have a blessed day. I just wanted to add a little insert at the end of this because previously I had mentioned the Miracle diaper cream stuff that I use and I have used and my family has passed down from generations. I have it here on hand and I wanted to show it to you. It's actually Mary Kay Extra Emollient Night Cream. So it's not like technically for diaper rash, but it seriously works so good. Like, I have seen it work miracles. Like, I've seen severe diaper rash, like really raw, and this will get rid of it in 48 hours or less. I kid you not. I won't try anything else. I give this as a for baby showers and stuff like that, first time moms. I always give this just because nobody would ever think of using it as a diaper rash cream, and I believe that this is a miracle worker. So if you are in the market for some diaper rash cream or haven't had any success with the stuff you've used before, give this a try. I will leave all the information below and a link to get you to there. So give it a try. I mean, it's only seriously $15 for, and the tube is 60 grams in here. So I mean, it's pretty big. So I've had this for a year and it's only like half empty, so it's pretty amazing. So I'll leave all the information below. I just wanted to give a little more on that because I think it's super important to have all the necessary tools for success when you're working with your baby. And then after this, I will tell you, if you're not satisfied with the information that you've received in this video and don't feel like it was worth the money you spent to there's my baby. If you feel like it wasn't worth, the money that you've put down to watch this video and get some of the tips and tricks, I will leave the the email address that you're going to use to send in a cancellation notice so that we don't charge you for this video. But it's totally up to you. I just really wanted to get this information out there for parents who needed it. And so the email you're going to send "do not charge me" to the email address mmckee@firstladyconsulting.com. And first is FIRST. It's spelled out like that. So it's MCKEE@firstladyconsulting.com. Thanks, guys.